All right, guys, good afternoon. My name is Enes Espino, and today I will be doing my presentation on recidivism rate in mental ill inmates. So to begin with, this is my table of contents. So first, I'll start out speaking about what exactly is recidivism, the mental illnesses associated with it, some of the issues, the impacts, the challenges, the prison time within, some solutions, and then I'll finish off with my references. So to begin with, what exactly is recidivism? Well, recidivism can be explained by the act of a person repeating an undesirable behavior that might cause that individual to commit a crime, resulting in that individual to go to jail/prison. Some of those crimes involved theft, domestic abuse, or might be petty crimes. And just to give you an idea, 64% of prisoners who have been convicted, often involving violent crimes, are rearrested, causing the recidivism rate to skyrocket. Just to give you an idea of what it is exactly. Well, let's jump right in to the mental illness part. So in most instances, inmates in jails or prison suffer from some sort of mental illness/disorder. This might be depression, it might be PTSD, some type of chronic disorder. The list is endless, honestly. But what we do know is that most mental disorders occur in high rates. With individuals in society today, we're starting to see more and more individuals come in and out of the correction system with some type of mental disorder. One of the key things is that it's not easily detected, especially now in society. We have some resources, but we don't have all the resources available to know, or at least spot someone in public and be able to tell that that person is suffering from some type of mental disorder or illness. One of the key things with mental illnesses, especially speaking with inmates in general, is that their behavior is very, very, very erratic. Due to the circumstances that an individual is not right in the mind, he or she might not have the adequate resources/education to function properly in society, which in the end is very, very time consuming to treat for individuals in the medical field, but more specifically towards individuals in the corrections field, which causes many issues. So why is this specifically an issue? Speaking about individuals who are mentally ill and the recidivism rate. Well, let me explain it to you. Not only does it affect the correction system in a negative way and not so many positive ways, but it is very budget costly. It costs more money to house individuals, and I'm talking about one single individual, to house them in the prison system than to do anything else, than to, let's just say, house them in a separate facility, a medical facility. Not only that, but it is more likely for a person to reoffend once they go into the system, and it's just an ongoing cycle from there. Because of this, most correction system, what happens is that they become very, very populated. We have individuals who might be suffering from some type of mental disorder. They act out, they get in trouble, they break the law, they get booked into the system, the corrections field, and what happens is that they might be in there, serve their time, 2 to 3 months, and then go back out and reoffend, which it's an ongoing process, very tedious, very problematic, and something needs to be done about that. So what are some of the impacts that this issue brings into the criminal justice field? Well, without proper treatment for individuals who might be suffering from a mental disorder, the conditions typically worsen. They do not get better, they worsen. Individuals become problematic to society. They start to break the laws, they start to break the rules, breaking into establishments. We start to see more and more individuals become homeless because of this. But most importantly, it becomes a great threat for law enforcement officials, not only on patrol, but within correction system. Individuals tend to be more erratic, more violent. There's no telling what a person who is schizophrenic might have planned in their minds. Because of this, repeat offenders cycle through the system, as stated before. It's an ongoing process, and the truth of the matter is that individuals, they need to get help, and the only way of doing that is by treating the main issue. So some of the leading factors with individuals who are mentally ill in corrections is that there's always misconceptions. When a person goes into the prison system, whether it's a first-time offender, second-time offender, or a sixth-time offender, those individuals are always open to discrimination, to bullying, to sexual threats against them in their lives. Why? Because it's a whole different world when you're inside the prison system. There's also failure to promote treatment within these facilities, which means that the correction system, and most times they don't have the adequate tools, the adequate training to deal with individuals who are mentally ill or bad in the mind. And what happens is that rehabilitation is not achieved. The only way of doing this is to have specific centers for these individuals so they can get the adequate help they need. With this comes poor access to mental health clinics. And I'm not just speaking in the state, I'm speaking in the whole country, not just the US. There's individuals suffering with mental disorders, which causes violent episodes. When released, they reoffend, they cause the recidivism rate to go up, and it's just a whole chaos. So within the prison, one of the key things is that most individuals, when they go get booked, some may have symptoms of a disorder. But that's not just the case. Some of these individuals actually might get a mental disorder while imprisonment is happening. Especially if it's a first-time offender, it can cause a great trauma to the mind. Within the prisons, I said this before as well, it causes much overcrowding. The population starts to rise, and there's more inmates than there are corrections officers. Because of this, there's times where corrections officers might result to putting individuals in confinement or solitude, which actually, come to find out, is making the situation worse with individuals who might be suffering from a mental illness. Why? Because this individual, when placed into solitude, they're creating an individual who might come out, who might go in normal and might come out with signs of depression because they've been locked up without physical contact, verbal contact for a week or two, because they were acting out in signs of an episode. So actually, the corrections officers are doing something that's not good, and which unfortunately might lead to deaths and suicide within the prison system. So what are some of the challenges with the correction system? Well, as I stated previous, definitely overcrowding, inadequate training. Prisons are sometimes used as dumping grounds for individuals. When family members don't know what to do with their loved ones who might be showing signs of a disorder, what happens is that the son or the daughter might start to act out, and the families reach out to the local police department and they say that their child needs help, that their daughter or son needs to get evaluated. But when police departments arrive there, sometimes even local law enforcement is not trained in dealing with individuals who are mentally disturbed. And this ultimately, therefore, it continues to get unnoticed, undiagnosed, and untreated, specifically dealing with mental disorders. So here are some possible solutions that we can come up with mentally people to try to lower the recidivism rate. Some include addressing the needs of people with mental disorders, definitely getting to the root of the problem, having more mental clinics available, training the staff better to help them deal with individuals who might be having some sort of episode. This can help reduce the number of people who ultimately return to prison, but also within the corrections field, there has to be a good promotion of good health. Even though individuals who commit crimes, they get sent to prison, within the facilities there has to be a balance of good conduct and good health. And by doing this is going to allow the system to be more proactive and show more positive signs of lowering the recidivism rate by rendering aid to individuals who might be going through some changes, some mental disorders, dealing with individuals who might be showing signs of PTSD, who just need a little bit of help. As I said, training staff, promoting high standards within prison management is definitely key. And this is my reference page, my resources used to gather this information. And that is pretty much it for my presentation today. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.